Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
This is WFO Radio.
Hello and happy Tuesday. This is Elon Werner, pinch hitting for Joe Costello. Joe's taking care of some personal matters. We did not want to miss a chance to talk to the Gator Nationals winners, a few of the Gator Nationals winners, get the show going. Wanted to keep everybody in the groove. We're excited for the 75th anniversary of the NHRA. Please like and share the show, get everybody on here. And we are not going to waste any time at all. Gator Nationals this past week in an amazing event. And we are joined by the two-time Gator Nationals winner, Josh Hart. Josh, do you have me?
I got you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Congratulations. Has it sunk in that in your first race with John Force Racing, you're standing back in the winner's circle at your home track, home event, the historic Gator Nationals?
New chapter is open. So, yeah, definitely was an awesome week or weekend at Bernie's. It was like a marathon for my family and I, but it was fabulous.
You really, like you mentioned, it was a week. We started on Wednesday night with the Fan Fest. And Brittany, your wife, has spearheaded that. This was the fourth one. I think it was one of the best ones we've ever done. Can you talk about just kind of how cool it is? You open your shop up for car shows and cars and coffee throughout the year, but to kind of have that be the signature jump-off point for the Gator Nationals, how much pride do you take in showing off Bernie's Speed Shop for that?
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, we started the preparation. I shouldn't say preparation. She prepares for it all year, but we started the preparation and execution of that preparation on Monday. So by Tuesday, it was pretty much locked and loaded. Wednesday, we saw the weather was going to cooperate. So, you know, I was testing. She and the team did a fabulous job getting that thing orchestrated. Quite literally, just like John Force Racing, I showed up, signed some autographs and shook hands. But absolutely awesome. We even got warned by the fire marshal. I don't know what the total head count was, but they're like, okay, enough's enough. So we know that we exceeded at least 7,000 people that night. But yeah, that kind of cool, I guess.
And you continue to up the ante. We had a red carpet with the Bernie's backdrop, you know, Oscar-like photography for all the drivers. We had almost all the Nitro competitors, and just seeing them react to the shop and the fans. What do you think could have gone better as far as just the idea of, you know, fan interaction, things like that? Well, like, what's next? You're always looking to make it better. What do you think we could do to make the Fan Fest even better?
I had some great ideas that she was shooting down because last minute, but next year, see, I've already started. I started planting the seeds before this one. So next year, we've got a couple of pretty cool ideas that I think we'll be able to execute. And it'll just be something that nobody's ever seen before, like true tradition Bernie's way.
Nice. It was great. We had lots of former Gator Nationals winners. We had the trophy at the event. And you go right from that right into the race on Thursday and Friday. What was the reception like on Friday? You're at the race, you're part of the John Force footprint, and fans are coming up. How cool was it to just be there back in the saddle with so much confidence in how your team had done in testing?
Yeah, testing really was a confidence builder. And to back up just a little bit, whoever put that trophy in front of me at FanFest, that was genius because I slobbered all over it the entire time. It kind of really set the mindset going into the race. I was like, okay, I have to have this thing. It was very cool. And the little diamond, I mean, whoever designed that, 10 points.
Right.
So, but yeah, definitely confidence builder. Obviously, with Grubnick's experience driving, it's awesome to have that sounding board for me. That's something that's all new. And he's just very well rounded. He talks to me plain as day, where I didn't have that in the past. It seems like it's going to be a really great relationship and partnership for the long haul. John Force, the greatest of all time, coming up to you, giving you a fist bump before you make your first burnout and just saying, hey, you're doing good, kid. That's pretty priceless. I mean, there's people that wait in line to just shake his hand, and here he is. He's standing with me on the starting line every pass, very encouraging. And everyone was, but again, to see him walk up and go, hey man, you're doing it, you're living it. That's a pretty good dose of reality.
You've been provisional number one qualifier. You go through Friday qualifying session. You're provisional number one qualifier on Friday. Saturday, obviously, it holds up because the weather kind of came to your team a little bit. You're in the press conference. You have the number one qualifier hat. Is that kind of you have so many goals in your life, and one of them was you want to be the number one qualifier. There's a picture of the run right there, and the Bernie's Speedmaster Top Fuel Dragster, which looks amazing. By the way, it's probably one of the most photogenic cars out there, but you kind of check the box of number one qualifier. You revel in that moment, but now the realization that that's probably the first of many.
Yeah. So, in my very first interaction with Grubnick and Collins, they came to me and they're like, what are your goals in Q1? And I'm like, wow, am I at Bernie's? No, I thought I was racing. I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, well, what do you want to accomplish with this thing? And I was like, well, one thing I've always wanted was a number one qualifier. And he goes, okay, well, we've done that plenty of times. I'll go get you a yellow hat. Don't worry about it. And so then he goes, well, what's another goal? And I said, well, obviously to get a win, that would be just fabulous. And I said, other things like earn the trust and respect of the Force fans and, all of my goals.
Sure.
And I think he crushed every single one of them right off the rip. It's like punching the biggest guy in the mouth at the bar to show that there's a new sheriff in town. It was crazy. He literally executed every single one of those items, which enabled me to talk and interact with the fans. And I think I did a pretty good job with that. So it was just awesome all the way around. And definitely another pinch me moment, way outweighs what we had done in the past. Because it couldn't have went any better. It was the Bernie's car after the Bernie's Fan Fest in the Bernie's lane at the Bernie's sponsored NHRA Gainesville Gator Nationals. So it's like, what else could you ask for?
Yeah, and that to me, I was going to ask about your rookie year. You win your first race ever. Do you appreciate this win more? Or how do you look at now moving forward that you've won and okay, I have a good team, I'm driving well. How does your enjoyment of this event win compare to like your rookie win?
So I went straight from the alcohol class to top fuel. And that's one of those situations where you really don't know what you don't know. I got in the car. I just wanted to qualify. It was a great ending. I'm not taking anything away from that. Not many people have been able to do that. I was driving good that day. Everything was it was all the stars had aligned, Then to back it up with another win in Charlotte that same year, great. And I thought, this is going to be a lot of fun. Then comes the, all the last 4 years of pain and suffering and beatdown. And you're like, what in the world am I doing?
Right.
So, and, I'll be honest that, I got a lot of negative feedback after those first couple of wins about how I needed to pay my dues and I needed to show some respect. And I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I just didn't know what I was doing, All I can say is now I know. I respect all of my peers. I respect all team owners. It's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. And I definitely appreciate this one more than I have ever appreciated any win in the history of my racing career.
Do you think because there are no guarantees that helps you focus even more like on Arizona or Winter Nationals or the rest of the season? Because you're like, hey, I've been in this position before, and not that you took it for granted, but you're like, hey, I have to keep my eye on the ball or keep the mojo going.
Yeah, it's definitely no joke. It is no joke. I do read a lot of the comments and stuff, and people would say, oh, money fixed it, or this fixed it, that fixed it. I'm telling you, you can throw as much money as you want at this thing. It will not change the outcome. It's a little bit of luck, some fabulous people. Resources does not mean just money. It means timing and logistics and getting your parts on time and in the right place at the right time. There's so much that goes into it. And until you've experienced it, you don't really deserve to be able to talk about it. And that's where I was in 2021. Mm-hmm. Stop talking, kid. You don't know what you're talking about. Now I know what I'm talking about. And I still have so much more to learn. That's why I wanted to align myself with people like Collins, Grubnick, Force. I'm not the smartest person in the room. I want to listen and learn from those guys. And hopefully I can continue to do my job.
You mentioned you pretty much touched all the bases on a racing experience on race day. Solid Q1 run. You got Trip Tatum red lit against you in the second round. But I think that semifinal run against Antron was where I think, looking at it from the outside, the marriage of Josh Hart to Josh Force Racing and David Grubnick came through with that pedal job against Antron. Can you walk us through that run and kind of your experience? Because that was really the first time during racing that you had to pedal that Bernie Speedmaster top-fuel dragster.
Yeah, so just to be clear again, that's owner versus driver mentality, okay? Owner, 4 years, that gas pedal's connected to my wallet.
Right.
If you mess up, it goes kaboom. It could be $100,000 deficit. When you have the confidence of the team and you're not worried about that, I had to prove to everybody, okay, he was hired to drive. I just proved I can drive.
Yep.
I didn't bang the blower. I didn't kill the engine. I didn't level anything. I was able to regain control of that car and drive around him. Hopefully that sends its own statement.
Yeah, definitely. And then in the final, you're racing the reigning world champion, who, is teammate, ironically, of the guy you beat in your first Gator Nationals win with Sean Langdon, which I don't know if you remember that, but yeah. So you beat Sean Langdon, your first Gator Nationals win. Then you get his teammate, Doug Coletta, reigning world champion. Again, just do you think about that? Like, okay, it's a final round. I'm racing Doug Coletta. Or do you just go, I'm just going to focus on what I need to do?
Yeah, so first of all, so much respect for those guys. Langdon has taught me a lot of lessons, and I don't mean the one that everybody thinks they know about. I mean, him and I have great conversations, and he's fabulous. Like, we talked that night after that incident in the airport, Yep. But he has showed me things that unless you drive, you'd never even know. So I think he's awesome. How do you explain Doug Coletta? I mean, he's like done things in that car that I didn't even think was possible. I've seen that car completely sideways with the body panels ripping off. He regains control, gets it straight. I think he won that race.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not supposed to be possible. So, all that said, when you go up there to the starting line, you cannot think about who's in the other lane. There's so many people that's part of the game, is living rent free in your head. I can't do it. I won't do it. I go up there. Don Garlitz told me, just run your race, do the best job that you can, and the chips will fall where they may. And that's what I do every time.
Seeing the legends at the race, you mentioned Don Garlitz. Did you get a chance to catch up with Garlitz or, Kenny Bernstein, the King of Speed, or Joe Amato, or any of the legends that were out this weekend?
So I didn't get to catch up with anybody but Don behind the scenes before the call out. And it was very short interaction, just wishing me good luck and good to see you type of thing. So yeah, it's always cool to know that you can call those guys and you have their phone number. That's pretty cool. That's a good check mark on the credential list.
So this is your third Top Fuel win. You're the points leader. What is your mindset now moving forward as you're kind of getting ready to go back to back, go out west, Arizona Nationals, Winter Nationals?
Well, like I said early on in 2021, I learned that you're only as good as your last race. Okay, so I'm gonna enjoy this for the next 12 days, something like that, and I'm gonna be the points leader, and I'm gonna focus 2 days prior to the event on how serious I need to take every single shot that I get at that tree.
Perfect.
Very, very excited to go out west. I love Arizona. We're not playing around this year.
Perfect. And the last question, Josh, is when you see your kids now older, enjoying being in winter circles, how much pride do you have in what you and Brittany have built to where you are now, and just what the future holds for, Josh Hart and Bernie Speed Shop and your relationship with Speedmaster and all your sponsors?
Yeah, it's first of all, it wasn't just Brittany and I. It's the Armstrong family. It's my personal family. All the people that have backed us. Throughout this process to get to where we are. It takes an army of people, man, to make one of these things even get to the racetrack, let alone be successful, survive a 5-year duration so far. When you think about the Connie Colettas and the John Forces and how long they've done this, man, what an awesome effort. It's a lifetime achievement award in my book, because I've been on the other side of the fence. So we don't get to take all the credit. All the guys from Bernie's, they all support this. And I think the thing that I'm most excited about is Speedmaster. They've contributed more to my organization, to this effort, than any sponsor in the history of my career. All of them combined. Jason's fabulous. Him and his team stepped up in areas that I didn't even think were an option. So we're excited to be with Speedmaster. And it's not about just money.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that he's experienced in business realms that I'm playing in, and now we can work together in other areas. So when people hear that, they immediately think it's just dollar bills. Yes, that's a big part of it. But when you actually have these amazing people that surround you, that you can use as a sounding board to build the whole thing, that's what it's all about. Not people that ditch you when the cards are down. That's not how it goes. You need the ones that are going to work with you in those times, and then they get to enjoy the champagne off the ceiling with all of us.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for joining WFO Radio today. Joe Costello wanted me to tell you that he was super excited. He was kind of keeping track of it. He's looking forward to seeing you at the next race, and we'll see you at the Arizona Nationals. And just enjoy this, and we hope this is the first of many Top Fuel wins for you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. It's going to be one hell of a 2026.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Josh. And we'll take a quick break, pay some bills, and when we come back, we will talk about the rest of the Gator Nationals. It was an amazing weekend, on track, off track. But let's get to a little break real quick, and then when we come back, we'll talk Gator Nationals.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Hey guys, time to talk about Larice Motorsports Insurance. As you know, when I was building Project Pontiac, my dad's 78 Trans Am, I went through a lot. A lot of people helped me out. I put a lot of investment into it. And one thing I knew, the first time I went to take it out on the road, is that I would never be able to do it again out of my pocket, certainly. So when I was about to get out on the highways and byways of Florida with the racing operation, I realized I had to call Larice Motorsports Insurance. Holden and the team over there, they do a great job because they cover your racing operation, your car, your trailer, your pit vehicles, your tools, everything it takes to go racing. They cover it in one simple policy without all the exemptions and exclusions you get with the major companies. Is it in the exact place it's supposed to be parked? Was there racing fuel in there? All of these different exemptions that can wipe out your policy and you not even know about it. Larice Motorsports Insurance. Go to their website, LariceMotorsportsInsurance.com. Tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio and ask about a policy for your race car. You can cover everything. The coverage, the basic coverage that they offer goes all the way to the water box and then picks up right on the return road. Think about it. All the stuff that could happen in those areas. Staging lanes. A lot of the major companies out there don't cover the cars in the staging lane. Somebody steps on the nose of your dragster or there's some sort of a problem. That just doesn't work for anybody that knows drag racing. So people who do know drag racing, the Larice family created this product for racers like us, and I feel so much better knowing that I'm covered. Larice Motorsportsinsurance.com, and be sure to tell them you heard it right here on WFO Radio.
This is WFO Radio.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
We are back. WFO Radio. I'm your guest host, Elon Werner. Daylight savings time. Do not be confused. Life's a Drag will be tomorrow with me and Jason Logan. So we just had a great conversation with Gator Nationals winner Josh Hart. Second Gator Nationals win, the points leader. I cannot tell you how cool it was to be at the Gator Nationals. I am more excited to start this NHRA season. This will be my 32nd or 33rd year in NHRA. And this 75th anniversary season, if how the Gator Nationals rolled out is any indication, it's going to be an amazing year. Yes, we had all the legends. Bob Fry on the microphone was just like a time machine. It was great. Brian Loans, it was amazing. I mean, and the great thing is Bob Fry still has, you forget his great bits. He has all his bits, number one qualifier call outs, but just he went into the Hall of Fame, so well deserved on Thursday night. Don Garlich does a great program. If you ever get a chance to go to the Gator Nationals, be sure to check out the Hall of Fame. Ron Tobler went in. Rear Morrison guys went in. Bob Fry. Arlene Johnson got the Pat Garlitz Award for just being kind of a woman behind the scene. But, yeah, the Gator Nationals, just from the jump, starting on Friday, traffic everywhere, people everywhere, just seeing all the new cars, the qualifying, new stars from Maddie Gordon to Cody Anderson was just really, really cool. You get into the race. Buddy Hull had a spectacular funny car fire, sadly, in Q4 that kept him out of the show, but he's okay. He's on the mend. His program is going to continue. But it was a fire that you hadn't seen in a funny car in a long time, probably not since Alexis. But luckily, Safety Safari on the scene. They're going to get their program, continue on. They have all the parts and pieces to move forward. But really, the star of the show, I think, was the racing on Sunday. Josh wins. Maddie Gordon goes to the semifinals. The Coletta guys are running strong in Top Fuel. Funny car was just the wild, wild west. The shock, I think, of the weekend was Austin Prock, reigning world champion, not qualifying for the show. And, that's also a brand new program. What people sometimes forget is, yes, Austin went over there, but he went with Jimmy and Thomas Prock, and they had to learn a whole new system. I don't know where Tasca gets his parts. I doubt it's from JFR, but there was a whole learning curve to get that program up and running. And there's a reason there's 20 races in a season. Do not count Austin Prock and those Tasca guys out. Austin made the comment that, when his dad went over with Beckman, they didn't qualify for the first race when he went over to Beckman, and then they won the next two. So they are even more hungry, I think, to establish themselves. I think there's a budding rivalry between Austin and Jordan Vandergriff, who also really showed he is a funny car driver. I mean, he outran Jack Beckman. He had a great showing at the Gator Nationals. Julian Natas had a strong showing at the Gator Nationals. I think the funny car category is going to be amazing. Spencer Hyde didn't qualify last year, qualified this year, went to the quarterfinals. It's just going to be a wide open race in funny car. Pro stock motorcycle. I think in pro stock motorcycle, Richard Gadsden winning on his birthday, if Josh Hart wouldn't have won, I think that would be the story we're all talking about, is Richard Gadsden really shouting down a lot of haters. There was probably more so than most at the end of last year, the champions that were crowned due to the, historic rain out at the World Finals. Richard Gadsden got a lot of grief over the offseason, and he spoke to those people in the winner's circle that said he didn't deserve a champion. He didn't deserve to be champion. He didn't deserve to be, the world champion. And he established his presence with authority, I think, on Sunday. And I think there's just going to be more of that. I think I was also very excited to see Matt Smith racing. Angie Smith was the number one qualifier. I don't think this is going to be the Gage, Richard Gadsden show this year. I think Matt Smith, Angie Smith, John Hall, Braden Davis going over with Ryan Oler, I think is going to be very, very interesting. And, I agree, Lauren. This shaped up to be an amazing kickoff to the 75th anniversary. Pro stock car was great to see Matt Hartford get another win. He's now won two of what I consider the four majors. U.S. Nationals, obviously, the Gator Nationals, and I think the Winter Nationals and the World Finals. Really, the Super Nationals or the Englishtown race was a major. That race went away, but I think him getting the win at the Gators really kickstarts his program. And to listen to him talk in the press conference after that win, they are like a SEAL Team 6 type operation. They're all specials. It's not a big group of people running the Matt Hartford Pro Stock car. They get their power from KB Titan, but basically that's just the motors delivered to him, and then he and his team go to work on it. There's no sharing of information. He's on an island. He's running his program to just get his program, run that motor, and get a win. And to see him do that, amazing to see Cody Anderson come out and have such a good weekend and have him race with his dad, Greg Anderson, was really cool. Seeing do well, Erica, Greg Stanfield, all those guys, I think it's going to be just a really nice balance in pro stock. The legends really, I think, are going to bring a whole extra layer to every national event. So if you're in Arizona or you're in Brainerd or Vegas or Seattle, there will be legends at your event, and it makes the event. It was so cool to see Kenny Bernstein walking around in the Bud King uniform shirt. Buddy Hall was doing the NHRA stage on Friday morning with Hannah Rickards and was talking about building a Joe Amato model. And then Joe Amato was actually in the audience because he was the next guest. And that was just a really cool moment to have current drivers be able to interact with legends. Don Garlitz is there. Shirley's there. Was just really cool. And they're there for the fans. They're doing autograph sessions. They're doing meet and greets. They are available. It was cool to see, obviously, Daryl Gwynn, Florida native, do his walk to support his charity. And then the winners all got their jackets and rings as part of the opening ceremonies. The Florida band was there. The biggest takeaway was traffic. The amount of people that were at the race was spectacular. And just people, once again, having to plan. Like, I got to the track at 6:45 on Sunday morning because I didn't want to miss first round. You know, there were people that were stuck in traffic that had to go be rescued on scooters. Rick Ware did a really funny video where he's walking up by all the traffic. Great way to start the season. I think there's going to be more to come, more in Arizona and the Winter Nationals. And it's just, the NHRA needed this. They did not have a great season last year with all the rainouts, but to get the Gator Nationals started in this way was really great. To see all these winners. We had Ricky Horde win in FlexJet Factory Stock Showdown. You had Derek Minholt. I mean, that guy in Pro Mod, the Pro Mod class right now, Lyle Barnett, Johnny, J.R. Gray, all these guys, was just really cool to see all these classes. And that's the great thing about the Gator Nationals is you start out with so many classes, and it just really is a great launching pad for our season. And to have all the dignitaries there, Maddie Gordon established herself, and, just to really get everything. Yeah, there's definitely Memphis Lonnie, you're right. There will be Maddie Mania. It will be spectacular. And we're going to get into that. Some of my final thoughts on the race after this, but we're going to go ahead and pay some bills, and we'll get right back into it after this. But thanks everybody for tuning in to WFO Radio. And let's pay some bills.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
Marvin Rodak, rodakscoffeeandgrills.com. Last year, Stampede is Speed, the Rodak Cadillac, guys. How cool was that? Actually, the Rodak Cadillac made an appearance in the Chasing Speed show on Vice TV. I was hoping to see the logo, didn't quite make it on there, but I knew. Here's the deal. Way back in the day, when I first started WFO Radio, I had a conversation on the air about bacon. And I got this email from a gentleman in Fort Worth, Texas. He's like, "Hey, Joe, I got the best bacon recipes. You can try this, 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 and this." And we had a friendship. Marvin Rodak has been a sponsor ever since. If you like grills, tools, tips, information about cooking, about grilling, this guy's been on TV. He's been on the Big Bad Barbecue Battle. I can't believe I know all this stuff. 817-924-6821. That's the number, 817-924-6821. The best thing Marvin does, though, is roast coffee. You're a mechanic, you're working in a shop. This is Marvin. The coffee pot was always crusty and gross. And he said, I got to change this. I can make it better. He learned everything there is to know about coffee from around the world. And now he roasts small batches from around the world fresh for you. So if you want to try next level coffee, the fresh stuff, the best stuff, you could, if they're like still juicy, the beans are still juicy when you get them fresh per your order. Definitely don't have them. Grind yourself. Get a grinder. $8. Get yourself a grinder. It's a fun thing. Marvin Rodak's coffeeandgrills.com, 817-924-6821. Call Marvin and tell him you heard about it on WFO.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
Hey guys, before I was a drag racing announcer, I was a bracket racer. I loved going to my home tracks, Miami Hollywood Speedway and Moroso Motorsports Park, and bracket racing on the weekends. It is such a great hobby. It is so much fun. It's one of the best things you're ever going to do. But in the end, it's not about going down the racetrack. It's about competition. And the hardest thing that we have in the world of drag racing is to help people experience the fun of being on the racetrack without the huge investment of buying a car. Maybe they won't like it. They're not going to do that. And that's where Frank Hawley comes in. Frank Hawley's drag racing school makes it easy for you to have those early first experiences. Think about it. You just go, you show up, you spend a day with Frank, you drive some dragsters, and then you decide, was that fun? Did I like that? Is that something I'd like to do? Do I want to compete? And that's what the Dragster Adventure is all about. Not everybody is going to want to make the big step and maybe get their super comp license, go a little bit faster, but a lot of you will. And it all starts with the Dragster Adventure. Go have fun. A day at Frank Hawley's, and they travel all around the country. They're coming to a track near you. It makes a great gift. You and your spouse go out there, drive dragsters together, race against each other like Tony and Leah, but a slower version. You show up with nothing, just the clothes on your back. They supply everything, and you have fun. It's great for your sales team, for your best clients. You want to do a day experience, go out there. They say, gifts now. Nobody cares what you got me. It's just they get rid of it. Like whatever it is, hey, you give them an experience, and it lasts a lifetime. They'll be talking about it forever. It's called the Dragster Adventure. Go to frankhawley.com. Still one of 75's NHRA's greatest drivers. Call Frank. Got a lot of love at the Gator Nationals. Call Frank, tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio, and book your trip on the Dragster Adventure.
Hey, it's Antron Brown, driver of the Macco Tools Top Fuel Dragster, and yes, I'm a 3-time world champ. But you know what? When I win, I go straight to WFO Radio, baby. I want to see you listening in.
Hello, we're back. So great to be able to step in, help Joe out, talk to Josh Hart, talk about the Gator Nationals. Show will go on every Tuesday, and I'm going to give my final thoughts on the Gator Nationals real quickly. So impressed with Maddie Gordon. I think she really had the weight of the world on her shoulders, a lot of pressure. She wins, races to the semifinals, and then has amazing interactions with Amanda and Courtney at the top end. And I mentioned to some people at the race, I would like to see her get a body of work of top end interviews with that level of enthusiasm, and then put together a drag race bracket bonanza bracket of Maddie Gordon versus Dan Wilkerson head to head, who gives the best high energy top end or starting line interviews, because I think that's those two personalities in our sport are a true breath of fresh air. Her energy is off the charts. I think it's proven that Ron Capps made a great decision giving her a ride. That's exciting. I think seeing so many second-generation drivers out here, seeing Cody Anderson get his first race with KB Titan, and getting to race with his dad, and seeing the joy of Greg Anderson kind of not passing the torch, but have the potential down the road. So we'll touch a little bit on Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Thanks, Steven. The Maddie winning first round was a pretty good upset. Sadly, one of my favorite funny car drivers, Ron Capps, losing in the first round. That grenaded, that John Smith win grenaded about 97% of the funny car brackets. And you can go to, if you're playing Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, you get the stats updates. It was a wild weekend. There were no perfect brackets, and that's usually there's one or two perfect brackets in Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. But seeing it play out, it was great to see Josh Hart being very highly picked by the fans. Probably the biggest surprise, obviously, Austin Prock not qualifying, was a huge impact for the fans, because he's been a very popular Drag Race Bracket Bonanza player. So it's been interesting to just see how players reacted to the new drivers and new places. You got 20 more, you got 19 more chances to play Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. One thing is, the idea of the Gator Nationals is also to start the season, and it's the last chance to celebrate 2025. And probably my biggest disappointment, which I'm going to get into a lot more tomorrow, is on Life's a Drag with Jason Logan is Tasca Racing didn't qualify. That happens. But it was disappointing that with the biggest crowd we had, they decided to pack up on Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, and they left the property before the race started on Sunday. Luckily, where they were parked, they were at an end of a row, and it wasn't completely obvious to the fans, unless they'd been there for the last couple of days, which a lot of them had, that they left. And that's their choice. They're free to do that. I don't know if there's penalties involved, but I just thought that was just not a good look. The worst look was Austin Prock not being available on Sunday morning to get his championship jacket and champ ring. I don't know what that was all about. I can't imagine. I haven't heard any reasoning for that, but he obviously bought a plane ticket planning to most likely win the race. So he had to change his plans. I never saw him at the track. But that was definitely created, I think, a awkward moment that we'll dive into a little bit more on Life's a Drag tomorrow. But that was a big miss. And the rest of the opening ceremonies went off without a hitch. They were very cool. Doug Coletta was also not part of opening ceremonies, but they were having a car issue. And they told the NHRA, hey, we're having a car issue. And obviously racing comes first. And it's unusual for the Coletta guys, but sometimes that just happens. But seeing Richard Gadsden get his championship ring, seeing Greg Anderson get his championship ring, or Dallas Glenn get his championship ring was really, really cool. And we'll get into more of this on Life's a Drag tomorrow. But I want to thank everybody for watching the show today, sharing the show today. Obviously, Joe's going through some things right now. I was very appreciative to be asked to pinch hit for him. But we will be back. Joe will be back. And we'll have a whole great show next week, Life's a Drag tomorrow with Jason Logan. And we're going to go ahead and start putting a capper on this show for this week. Be sure to check the archives, check the previous shows, share this show. But just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and just really want to thank all our sponsors for supporting the show. If you haven't had a chance to sign up for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, selfish plug right there, please be sure to do that. But we'll go ahead and put an end on this show, and thanks everybody for listening.